I have a question for Tim. When is, are you guys going on tour?
April.
In April, and when's the new CD coming out?
Mid-April.
Mid-April, okay, good, 311. I saw another hand over here.
For Miles Kennedy? It's a vocal question. Did you always have the amazing ranges you have, or were there techniques you used to open up your range so that you just play it? It's a good question. I wear Garanimals, tight underpants, and that's it. It's just go down to Walmart, get some tight underwear, and usually wear it. No. I always had a little higher voice. I studied with a guy named Ron Anderson, a fantastic teacher. He taught me this thing called bel canto. It's an old Italian opera technique, and so that gave me more consistency and whatnot, just to help out live, so I can blow it out. So yeah, it's a great technique. Bel canto.
We're going to pass the mic down. If you could have an opportunity to play with, I think the question was, any other living guitarists? Who might that be? And we'll just pass the mic on down. John?
I'm not particularly comfortable with anybody else holding a guitar on the same stage with me. No, I'm actually very fortunate to be in a band called Camp Freddy, where we've had just about every one of my idols and heroes come and jam with us. So, you know, to be perfectly frank and fair, anybody here among these guys, I'd be honored to play with.
Gosh, actually, you know, he's not living anymore, God love him. I would have really loved to have had the opportunity to play with Danny Gatton. But for a living guitar player, huh? What's that? It's all right. Yeah. All right. Yeah, Dave Navarro. He's...
I love you, Dave. What can I say? You rock.
Oh, I don't know. I was talking with David last night at dinner about favorite guitar players, and we talked a lot about Pat Metheny, one of my favorite players, a great acoustic player as well as an electric player. That would be mine, I think.
I was going to say that. So I'm going to go, he beat me to Pat Metheny. I'm going to go with Jeff Beck.
I would have to say The Edge and Martin Gore.
I'm going to go again. I'll say David Gilmour since no one said him yet.
Okay, bass player here. I would say I would like to play with Alan Holter. That'd be fun.
Probably my favorite guitar player right now is a guy named Audley Freed. He played in a band called Cry of Love. He's played for the Black Crowes. He plays with Warren Haynes all the time with Government Mule, but check him out.
I've been really fortunate in my career. I've had a chance to play with a lot of my idols. I played with Ted Nugent and Sammy Hagar and a whole bunch of guys. But I think out of anybody that I would just fall over stupid to be on stage with would also be Jeff Beck. Just love it.
Kind of a tough question. No, I can't. There's a gentleman, who's a fantastic guitar player named Mike Stern. I played with Miles Davis. That would probably be my guy.
I'm a bit torn, you know. Probably expect me to say metal guy, you know, but I'm a big fan of a guitar player called Jerry Donahue. I think he's awesome. So either him or Bert Jansch, which I like. So.
I would choose Frank Marino from Morgan and Rush. It would be cool to jam with him.
Do you have any other goals as a guitarist? What's next for what you want to do? Hard one, I know.
I just want to, you know, try and be the best player I can be. You know, with the guitar, no matter how hard you work at it, you see any of these guys, and everybody's got such a different style. You always feel like a beginner. So my goal is just to try and keep soaking in as much as I can, and you know, try and be as best as I can.
And this is for David Grissom. Storyville was such a great band and rock. Is there any other chance of that band going on tour or coming out with another CD or a studio?
Actually, Malford is gonna be the new singer for Led Zeppelin. So no.
Mystery solved.
Storyville. No, Storyville is pretty much we've decided to. It's pretty much done. So you know, we had a good long run, and there's a lot of different reasons when you have a band. You have water under the bridge. It's a little bit like a marriage. Things change, and it's really grateful for all the time and we had to play together in the music we made. But I'm pretty sure that's not going to happen again, and we're all kind of doing our own thing right now. But thanks.
I'm actually kind of overwhelmed. This is Paul. I can't believe we're all sitting in one spot. It's actually kind of amazing, right? I mean, really, if there's a wedding or there's a funeral or there's something you want to support, the thing you do is you bring your body, right? Everybody's sitting here. It's just unbelievable. The more I stand here and look, I can't believe we're all sitting in the same spot. It's very cool. I can't tell you how much I appreciate everybody's trust. It's very, 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 very good. So I don't have a question. You know, wait a minute, I do have a question. The question was, the last one was, who do you want to play with? By the way, I would have said Jeff Beck, and then I would have said number 2 Jeff Beck, and then I would have said number 3 Jeff Beck. But he doesn't need another guitar player on stage, so I probably stood there and just smiled that I was allowed on the stage, right? But each one of these guitar players idoled somebody.
You know, for me, growing up, it was basically Jimi Hendrix, hands down, Jimmy Page, Ed Van Halen, which actually nobody said Ed Van Halen. I'm going to go there and say, that's a guy I'd like to play with. You know, nobody has influenced me more or made me a better player than the other guys in the bands I've played with. Having Stephen Perkins and Eric Avery as a rhythm section, and Perry Farrell's creative genius has forged my playing more deeply than anybody else that I've ever listened to.
My biggest influence was definitely Danny Gatton. And but I would like to say too, I think a lot of us sitting here, you know, there's always kind of an unsung hero that I know for me, there was a gentleman by the name of Billy Pierce who's up in Bangor, Maine, which you know, I grew up in a real small town in rural Maine, in Princeton actually, and but Billy Pierce is a guitar player that you all should know because he was a GIT graduate, very very adept at you know, at playing. He's just amazing. But he's, even when I go home to Maine, I still love to look him up and try to grab a lesson when I'm home. You know, he's just really good. But I think we all have kind of one of those unsung, you know, hometown heroes that really inspired us to do what we do. But to answer your question, Paul, would definitely be Danny Gatton for sure.
Johnny's onto something with this idea of an unsung hero. One of mine would be a great Scottish acoustic guitar player called Tony Cuff. One of the first people I think to have played traditional music from my country within the idiom on the instrument that we love, the guitar. Another one would be an English guitar player called Martin Simpson. Huge influence on my playing, and when this acoustic project got off the ground, Paul asked me for a couple of suggestions as to who else we could involve in developing these guitars and supporting the project. Martin was the first name that came to mind.
For me, it's all the classic rock guys, Duane Allman, Jimmy Page, B.B. King, and then Albert King, bluegrass guys like Norman Blake and Doc Watson, Wes Montgomery, the jazz guy. But the biggest mentor for me was the 6 years I had touring the world, whether it was in a van or whatever, with Joe Ely, just being around an artist like him, seeing how he ran a band, how he interacted with the crowd, which took all those things you practice in your bedroom to the real world, and it was an education that I could never get any other way. So
I think I mentioned it earlier, Carlos Santana. I've had the honor to jam with him 3 times in my life, and recently it was September 30th in front of a hometown crowd, and it wasn't planned, so it kind of caught me off guard. I was just standing there smoking a cigarette, and he's like, "You want to get up here and jam 2 songs?" So it was an honor to get up on stage and jam with him, and I've been able to jam with him at the Latin Grammys. So that was a big honor for me. So, and that's why I'm here. He's turned me on to Paul Reed Smith. So.